What if the deadliest weapon wasn't a blade, or a bomb, or even an army? What if the deadliest weapon was silence? Imagine a world where your voice, the very essence of your being, could be stolen in an instant. This is the story of the sacred empire of Irunmole, a land where gods and mortals once lived side by side, their lives interwoven like threads in a divine tapestry. In Irunmole, the air was always filled with sound. The vibrant calls of the marketplace, the joyous songs of festivals, the whispered prayers in gilded temples, and the commanding decrees of kings. It was a symphony of life. But then, one day, the music stopped. It began subtly. A merchant tried to hawk his wares, but only a puff of air escaped his lips. A mother tried to sing her child to sleep, but her lullaby was gone. Soon, the silence spread like a plague. Kings stood before their people, mouths opening and closing in a desperate, soundless pantomime. Priests raised their hands to the heavens, their sacred chants trapped within their chests. Fear, cold and suffocating, descended upon the empire, spreading faster and more completely than any sound ever could. The world was muted. But in this deafening hush, one person moved like a living whisper. Her name was Abeni Kafele. Abeni had been born into this world without a voice, a silence that was hers alone. But where others saw disability, Abeni found a unique strength. While the world chattered, she had learned to listen. Not just with her ears, but with her entire being. She spoke a language older than words, a beautiful and complex art of glowing hand sigils. This ancient light language was a secret, taught only to the most elite royal spies of the empire. Each gesture, each pulse of light, was a word, a sentence, a story. In a world suddenly robbed of its voice, Abeni's lifelong silence became her greatest asset. She had always been an observer, forced to understand the world beyond spoken words. She could read the truth in the subtle rhythm of a person's breath, detect a lie in the natural stillness of their posture, and see the flicker of courage in a pair of trembling hands. While everyone else was panicking, lost in their newfound silence, Abeni was watching, and what she saw chilled her to the bone. Her investigation began in the silent streets, where people communicated with frantic, clumsy gestures. Their faces masks of confusion and terror. Abeni moved among them, her glowing hands a beacon of calm and purpose. Her trail, pieced together from fearful glances and furtive signs, led her away from the chaos of the city and towards the serene, gold-lit temples that dotted the landscape. These were the holiest places in Irunmole, where the barrier between the mortal and divine was thinnest. It was here she discovered the horrifying truth. The stolen voices weren't gone, they were trapped. She saw them, shimmering like heat haze, imprisoned within strange, living relics that pulsed with a malevolent energy. Words, prayers, and songs were being held captive. Deeper inside the grandest temple, in a chamber where the air itself seemed to vibrate with immense power, she found him. The source of it all. He was known only as the Irunmole Speaker, a divine envoy whose face was perpetually hidden behind a cracked, golden mask. He stood in perfect, unnerving stillness, the stolen sounds of the empire swirling around him like a captive storm. He didn't need to shout to command the gods who stood guard by his side. His authority was absolute, conveyed through a silence so profound it was a weapon in itself. His plan, Abeni realized, was as simple as it was monstrous. He sought to erase all mortal voices, to sever the connection between the people and their gods, between each other. By plunging the world into a forced quiet, he could rule through silent and questioning obedience. It was a stark and terrifying lesson, one that history often forgets. Power doesn't always roar and announce its presence. Sometimes, the most absolute power is the one that erases, that silences dissent before it can even be formed. She understood then that when silence is not a choice, but an imposition, it becomes the ultimate form of tyranny. The final confrontation took place in the soundless throne room of the emperor. The court was assembled, their mouths sealed shut by glowing runes that hovered menacingly. The air was thick with unspoken despair. Floating glyphs, dark and jagged, circled the chamber like vultures waiting for the final breath. The Irunmole Speaker stood before the throne, his masked face an unreadable void. Then, Abeni acted. She raised her hands, and the room was flooded with the brilliant light of her sigils. They blazed with defiance, a silent scream of rebellion against the crushing quiet. Light clashed with silence. The gods at the speaker's side froze, their divine forms caught between two opposing forces. The speaker struck first. He didn't move a muscle, but a wave of pure, weaponized silence crashed towards Abeni, a force designed to extinguish her light and her will. But Abeni answered with motion. She was a blur of grace and determination, her movements fast, fearless, and precise. She wasn't just fighting, she was speaking the only language that mattered now. The language of action. She dodged the silent assault, leapt over a divine guard, and launched herself directly at the speaker. Her target was the mask, the symbol and source of his power. Her hand, glowing with pure resolve, struck the golden facade. A crack spider webbed across its surface. Enraged, the speaker unleashed his divine shadows, dark entities that lunged at Abeni from all directions. She fought through them, a whirlwind of light and motion. Each sigil she formed was a blow, each gesture a declaration of freedom. She was fighting for her king, for her people, for every stolen word and silenced song. With one final, desperate push, she channeled all of her strength into her hands and struck the mask again. This time it shattered, gold fragments exploded outwards, and with them, the voices. A deafening wave of sound erupted back into the world, a million conversations, shouts, cries, and songs, all released at once. The sound was overwhelming, chaotic, and beautiful. The empire breathed again. The people in the court gasped, touching their throats, whispering their own names as if learning to speak for the first time. The spell was broken. Abeni Kafele, the girl who had never spoken a word, had given the world back its voice. The story of Irunmole serves as a powerful reminder for us all. Your voice matters. It has power, whether you speak it, write it, or sign it. It's your truth, your story, your connection to the world. So guard it fiercely. Use it to speak up for what's right, to share your joy, to ask for help, and to listen to others. Because as Abeni showed us, a world without voices is a world without freedom. Silence should be a choice, a moment of peace, never a cage. If this story moved you and you believe in the power of every voice, please show your support. Like this video, subscribe to the channel for more stories that make you think, and share this message with others. Let's make sure that silence never, ever rules us. Thanks for watching.